Okay. Ooh, I seen a study guide. So, does anybody else need the study guide? Because if so, I'm going to plop the link into my chat right now. So hi everybody. Again, my name is Professor Kelsey Coes. I am here with Divination Academy. And I just did plot my study guide link in there for you. So, as a professor, this is something I personally do. I create a study guide for every ritual and every class that I host. So you guys all have all the information that I'm going to teach for you. And then you have to go back to for notes as well. You can take notes all over it, still take your own notes, but I do take the time to create that for you. So you have all the information at your fingertips. Okay, so I know we have a lot of new people in here, so I've got a little bit of housekeeping to go over. So first, if you haven't been with us at Divination Academy before, thank you so very much for being with us and finding us. We are a pagan academy, and we believe in our philosophy is that all education should be free and accessible to all. So everything we do here is always free for you. We give you access to a lot of things that you wouldn't normally have access to because we just love doing it. So thank you for finding us, and I hope after today, if you aren't a student, you send us a message on Facebook and you enroll. So that's going to be the next thing. I'm going to link in here the chat for you. So this is the best way to get in touch with us is through our Facebook page. You send us a message there directly, and then our admins will get back to you. It may take just a little bit of time just because we do have a lot of messages daily, and not as many admins as we have people wanting to join our academy. So, but we'll get back to you and we'll get you enrolled. When you do enroll, you get access to our private Facebook community, our private Facebook messengers, which give you access to a lot of your professors pretty much all the time. And you just get a great community to be a part of. This video, along with a bunch of others, will get posted to our YouTube page, which I linked there for you. We have 136 videos right now on our page about a ton of other classes. I do all of our rituals for moon magic, wheel of the year, and then I teach 2 other series and have a 3rd one starting. And then we have a lot of other professors doing a lot of different topics right now as well. So definitely go check it out. And then the last thing I'll link into the page for you about us is going to be our website. Take a look at this if you're a student or if you're not. We have so many resources on there for you. All of our sources get cited, our bibliographies get put there, our resources get put there. If you ever lose study guides, they end up there. There's a lot of professors that literally just put like copies of entire books in there for you. Like there's so much information on that page for you. You also can get information about our professors, get information about our certification programs we offer, and our private apprenticeships that we offer as well, because we do offer one-on-one private apprenticeships. The next thing that I have to talk about is just a little bit about me and who I am. My name is Kelsey Coes, again, Professor Kelsey Coes. I'm a solitary practitioner. I've been practicing for about 15 plus years. I'm a gray practitioner, and so I pull from both sides, light and dark. So everything is dual for me. I do not believe in good versus evil, light and love only. So you will feel all energies when it comes to me, because I do walk that duality path. My magic is very ceremonial, very purifying, cleansing, and very ritualistic for me being a solitary practitioner. I am certified and have studied under a lot of different masters on a lot of different topics in paganism, witchcraft, magic, shamanism, a lot of different cultures and religions, and I pull from everywhere. So if you haven't taken a look to see this study guide, I'm going to show you all different cultures. I'm going to show you all different ways to practices and different ways to work with this energy and different ways to use this holiday as well for you. Okay, fabulous. So before I get going here, I'm jumping right in the study guide and the teaching part. Do you guys have any questions at all for me? Don't see anything popping in the chat or any hands being raised. Fabulous. Okay, so we're gonna jump in. So we are celebrating Samhain. Samhain is placed on our Wheel of the Year. It's also known as our Witch's New Year. That's gonna be a big focus I kind of remind you on and teach you guys tonight. Samhain is very also focused on spiritual, connecting to spirits and ghosts and your ancestors. It's when the veil is the thinnest between the worlds 1 of 2 times, because it also happens as Beltane as well. But for Samhain, this is the big one most people know about with the veil thinning. There's lots of different myths, stories, and reasons for why. I'm going to go through that later in a little bit more detail. It's also known as the 3rd harvest. It's the time of the year, like agriculturally, seasonally, and naturally, to where, everything's dying, it's coming to the end, we're preparing for winter, we're getting ready to shelter. Like in Celtic times and old traditions, this is when like animals would either be sacrificed for food for the winter or they'd be brought in for lodging for the winter. This is when all preparations for food and storage and all, you know, meals and things would start to get prepped. This is that time of the year. Historically and like I said, agriculturally and geographically, just that's what was going on this time of the year as well. So that's another thing that it represents. It represents the ending of the cycle of life, of harvest, of fruition, and the end of the year. Again, this is our this is the witch's new year. This has been considered the witch's new year. This is my I do not celebrate New Year chronologically with the rest of the calendar. Like this is my new year. So a lot of the spells that I'll be doing with you tonight, teaching you, is going to be about New Year's. And that with it also being a part of the spirits and the time of the veil thinning. This is when you can have access to your ancestors in the underworld. With that being a connection, this is a very liminal time. This is a very deep energy for transformation, for rebirth, like death. In order to rebirth and transform, there has to be a death first. So that's a big reason why this is associated. Like something has to die in order for something to be reborn. So that's the essence of this transformation energy with Samhain. And it's just a very beautiful, just a very, very beautiful energy. With that energy and with it being a liminal space, this is a very, very great time for you to start New Year's resolutions, manifesting intentions, and really, really letting go. This is a huge time to really, really like if there's anything in this year that is no longer serving you in any way, shape, or form, this is a time when to let it go. I'm pretty sure by the end of the day, I'm going to have like 50 separate sheets of paper that are going to be getting burned for my release, because I literally will go through one by one and I will release absolutely everything. This is that perfect time. This time also is seen as a very sensual time. I think a lot of people miss that and they forget about that. I think they really focus on the sensuality when it comes to Beltane, but Samhain is also very, very sensual. When I get to like more specifically of the myths, there's quite a few myths that are literally revolved around deities meeting together, consummating marriages. Like they are coupling in order so people can be protected and saved and land can be fertile. There's quite a few instances of this happening throughout different myths and in different cultures and in different religions. And it almost always is revolved around, you know, sex and coupling and marriages and things like that. So this is, again, a very, very central time, just like Beltane is. Very, very central time. Okay, so that's a brief overview of it. Before I go on to the next chunk, if anybody has any questions, you can put in the chat or ask now, because next I'm going to get into like the nitty-gritty of the history part of the holiday. Like the history part of the holiday, and also how it has morphed and changed throughout the years into the way it is now. Because most people know Samhain as Halloween or All Hallows Eve. For a tiny bit, like about 5 years, it was All Saints Day, and then that got moved as well. So any questions? I don't see anything. I will slow down. Thank you, honey. Thank you for reminding me. I am notoriously known for talking very, very fast. I will slow down. I will slow down. Other than that, any other questions? And keep reminding me if you need to, please. Okay. I don't see anything else popping up. Okay, so when it comes to the history, as far back as we can trace it, Samhain is an ancient Celtic festival of the dead. Samhain literally translates into summer's end for the Celts. And it's there to recognize like the two holidays, summer and winter, because that's really the only two holidays they ever recognized in ancient Celts. They didn't have the 4 seasons. It was really just summer and winter. So it symbolizes the changing between those two. It was almost always, like I said, it was celebrated at the end of October, beginning of November. I've seen a different date range. I've seen from October 29th to November 1st throughout the different years and on different texts. I've seen that date range. But the 30th, the 31st, That's typically where you'll see it. A lot of times with the history, the big thing about it, like I said, agriculturally, this is when the women who are caring for the livestock, they would start to descend down from the hills. They would rejoin their men. So that's another reason also why it's very sexual, sensual and very coupling. The women would be coming down from the hills to rejoin their men who were down in the hills harvesting the last crops. And they were maintaining everything that they needed for their families. In the Celtic times, it was also thought that this was with Samhain, that this was a time to where fairies and the fae would really kind of run rampant on that day. Like it was said that you wouldn't be able to tell like who was fae and who was human. That's one reason and one thought process of why that wearing disguises for trick-or-treating and Halloween became a thing. Is because they wanted to be like, haha, you want to trick us and think that we can't figure out who you are? Well, now everybody's going to wear costumes and nobody's going to know who anybody is, whether you're human or fae or anything. So yes, that is a thing. The fae were part of this as well when it comes to history, especially tied to the Druids. And then when the church kind of got involved, that's when it started to kind of be changed into All Hallows Eve and Halloween. There was a brief period there for about 5 years where they did it on they did All Saints Day, and it was their attempt to try to like really convert like everything into one and really get rid of Samhain altogether. Didn't really work. All Saints Day is now still a separate holiday on November 1st. But they tried to do that for about 5 years at first. And then that's when it became the All Hallows Eve. It really changed into the more of the modern times for us now, with the big wave of Irish immigrants that came to the United States. A lot of those old traditions kind of like morphed into modern day time to fit into the society now. And in the olden days, it used to be, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in detail. Actually, I'll go into it now. With the modern time, we have the jack-o'-lantern. Now that changed because that was just more readily available here in the United States for them. That's literally just why that became the food that we're using. Before it was actually turnips. It was literally said that like to be mischievous and on the pranksters nights, the young men, the young boys, they would literally like carve out turnips and leave the candles with creepy faces and leave them around to try to mess around with people and pull pranks. And that carried over into the United States. But then again, like we switched to the pumpkins and the jack-o'-lanterns just because they were more readily available. It was also used as and thought to use as a way to like disguise the home and as a protection, like a disguise to protect the home, to keep any evil entities that you didn't want coming in and crossing over during the border, during when the veil was thinned. I'm going to talk a little bit more again about the myths as well when it comes to why that happened in Celtic and ancient Druids. But I wanted to touch on that too right there. Why don't I do that now, actually? So when it comes to the myths, some myths that are really associated with this are actually, it comes out with the Morrigan. I just taught a class on her on Saturday, but there's a myth attached to her that makes this also very, very sacred to the Celtic and Irish people, because there was a deal that was made between the Morrigan and the great All-Father Dagda. And the deal was made that like in order to protect his people, he would marry the Morrigan. But the deal was they only had to couple and have sex once a year on Samhain, and her end of the bargain was that she was going to protect his people in battle, make the land fertile, and then every year that would be the contractual obligation that they would fulfill. She would come up, like they would meet together, actually across a specific ford and a specific river, and they would, couple together, and then his people would end up being prosperous. They would be safe from war. They would be victorious in battle. The lands would be fertile. So this was also a big reason why they honored this, because they needed to honor that connection. The Morrigan came from the people, the Tula de Danann, and they're just way more powerful. Like they were way more powerful at that time. And that's the reason why he really needed their protection, because she chose to side against them. So they really honor this for that fertility as well, and for making sure that their land stays, and they have victories throughout the next year. So that's the myth that's one of the myths that are also tied with this as well. When it comes to like the disguising and why we have the costumes, I talked about the one which is with the Fae, Fae. It was said that the Fae were able to cross more frequently, and they were able to disguise themselves better during this time, because the spirits were able to come back and forth, because that portal was open, because the Morrigan and Dagda were meeting together. And so they would wear disguises to try to disguise themselves from the ghosts, from the spirits. That's one version that says of why they did that. Another version, like I said, is to keep them because the Fae were like, well, we can't distinguish, so we're just gonna pull one over on the Fae, and they're not even gonna be able to tell who's human and who's not. So those are the two different reasons for why, like, I found we really do the disguising and the trick-or-treating and things like that. There is one other one that pulls back to Gaelic times for the trick-or-treating part. It has nothing to do with disguises. But in Gaelic times, there was a tradition to where the poor and the hungry, especially children, they would go around door to door during this time, and they would sing hymns and they would say prayers and they would do things for spirits and ancestors at your doorway to prevent them from entering your home while the portal to the underworld was open and while the veil was thinned. And then, as a thank you, the homes and adults would have these yummy pastries and these cakes that they would make, and they would give them to these children for singing the hymns and the lyrics and protecting their home. That's the closest connection like I've been able to found to like the handing out candy and the trick-or-treating is that myth and that legend. I think it's a beautiful. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Personally, I absolutely love that myth and that legend and that story. Um, I've really, when it comes to the spiritual meaning, I touched on it in the overview. It's like I said, we have that central aspect because of, that sensuality with the Morrigan and Dagda. There's also, with the sensuality, there's also another story that plays into this, which is Persephone and Hades. There's two different dates that are equated to them about their black wedding, and when Persephone was like actually kidnapped or not kidnapped, depending on which version of the story you follow and subscribe to. But there are two different dates. One is the fall equinox and Mabon, and one is Samhain. So some people also celebrate and connect that as well. It makes perfect sense to me. She's a patron deity to me, so I honor her on both days. I do the Morrigan more for Samhain, but I do still honor Persephone as well and that union. But that is also another myth, and that you can see attached to that as well when it comes to that such sensuality, because they're very specific. Like they do couple, like it is a very specific thing. And then again, I touched on the spirituality of the liminal. It's a liminal point. It's a point where it's a transition, it's a thinning, it's from one transition to the other. You'll see it also spiritually a lot of times represented. And if you use the mother maiden crone energy and work with the triple goddess, Samhain will tie into that crone aspect for you. That crone energy, that wisdom, that ending of cycles, that transformation, that death, that rebirth. That's going to be the energy you're really gonna be able to attach to. When it comes to this, that's another spiritual aspect of it. There is one myth I'm not going to go over, so I would recommend reading it in the study guide. I have it labeled underneath the darker side of Samhain. I'm not going to go over it right now because I know there's kids here, and I don't want to do this one because this one has some gory stuff in it. So because there's children here, I just recommend that you read that one in the study guide on your own, because that one is pretty interesting as well. It's another Celtic one. Okay, I'm gonna jump back to the chat, see if you guys have any questions so far. Thank you, honey, for attaching the study guide for the Morrigan. I don't see any questions popping up, and I don't see any hands. Okay, fabulous. Did I slow down enough? I hope I did. I'm trying really hard. Okay, there are other holidays in other cultures that are similar to Samhain. So almost every culture and every ancient religion has some type of Day of the Dead or honoring their ancestors or honoring death, connecting to that energy and that archetype. Big disclaimer, these are not the same holidays. They are their own separate holidays. They're just very similar. So You have the Mexican tradition, the South American tradition of Dia de los Muertos. In Asia, you also have the Hungry Ghost Festival, which is also known as the Festival of the Dead, that sometimes does pop up around August 12th. There's also a holiday for the Taoist and Buddhist that pop up as well. It's usually during the 15th day of the seventh month. And it's about the spiritual, being able to actually visit the spiritual world and visit their dead. They give offerings to make sure angry spirits stay away. So I could keep going, but those are some major examples of other holidays that are similar. Remember, they're different, separate holidays, but this is something that goes across cultures, it goes across religions, it goes across pantheons. Like, this is a concept that is literally worldwide. Ways that you can honor Samhain and ways that you can, and I know, I just realized I have jumped into the neo-paganism pronunciation a couple times. So if you hear me say Samhain, that is a neo-paganism translation. Some people do call it that, but it is traditionally Samhain. But I do flip back and forth sometimes. But Samhain, best ways that you can, just like simple ways that you can honor it and practice it, is carving pumpkins. It's of old tradition. You're going back to super ancient times for a lot of different reasons. If you want to, you can try turnips. I haven't, but I'm gonna assume that that's actually pretty difficult to do. They're pretty tiny. Another one is bobbing for apples. Apples are one of the representations of this holiday as well, because it comes to the end of the harvest and tying it back to fall and Mabon. The Celtic ancestors also considered an apple an otherworldly and sacred fruit. It was a sign of prosperity and protection and love. So doing any type of activities with that and ritual work with that and with the apples will bring that aspect into your new year with you. A big one is doing a bonfire, a releasing bonfire specifically. So what a releasing bonfire is, if you haven't done one or haven't been to one or haven't hosted one before, is, typical traditional bonfire. A lot of times I'll add some herbs to mine, like I'll throw in some maybe stick in there. It's not gonna do anything. It actually makes it smell pretty good. Um, but I'll throw that in there as well. And then when you
Hey,
release,
Kelsey.
yes,
Sorry, real quick. You kind of blinked out there.
did I?
Like your voice went really soft and we couldn't hear you. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just can you go back for like a
How back
minute
do you
or
need me to
so?
go?
Like when you started talking about how to do the bonfire.
Okay. So when it comes to a bonfire, did I say what herbs? See what herbs. Okay, so I'll start the herbs. So when it comes to the bonfire, what I typically do is I'll grab a handful of herbs. I usually will grab like sage and lavender, rosemary, bay leaves, sometimes mugwort as well if I have some on me. And I throw it into the fire. It's a way to purify. You also add the properties of what those herbs bring into you into the smoke to lift up with those intentions that you're going to be releasing. It also makes it smell nice. It also has a little nice smell to it. So those are the herbs that I typically grab, but you can use any mixture that works well with you. And then when it comes to the releasing, making sure that you create your energetic container. So however you do that, if it's dropping into a meditative space, if it's creating the energy between your hands so that you can feel and see it, if it's visualizing your energy in some type of light, whether it's white or gray or a certain color for anything that you want to bring in, but make sure you have that energetic container with you. You can write out the things on your paper as you're there on the bonfire, or you can do it ahead of time. I recommend doing one thing on one page. That way it's very intentional with each release. It's that one thing being released. So whatever you have written on those papers, however many you do, with that sacred container and sacred space contained, you will release that and burn it into the fire. And while you are saying every single time, I release this to you for the new year. I release everything that no longer serves me. You let it go, you watch it burn, and then you go to the next one. And then when you're done, you always want to make sure you call back your energy and you thank anything that you use to call your energy and you thank anything for being there. It's a super, super cathartic thing. I literally will feel like that energy like snap and release as soon as that paper is burned and I've let go of that. Um, and it's a very common thing. People absolutely love doing this. People do this at Beltane. People do this at Maven. But Samhain, because it's the new year and the end of the year, that energy that you get in transformation is very huge. Okay, so next when it comes to celebrating is also visiting your ancestors' graves. And then if you go to a graveyard, there's something that I always recommend for people to do. I learned this from a couple different of my masters, and I've carried it with me. Even if I'm going to visit my own ancestors and I'm bringing them an offering, I still always bring an offering just for the cemetery itself. I always place an offering and leave an offering at the entrance of the cemetery. I feel like it's just crucial for us to honor that sacred ground and that sacred space itself. It is holding so many others' ancestors. And when you are there, you are going to be using like not only in calling on your ancestors' energy, but it's so much energy around you. So I really recommend bringing a gift and an offering for the cemetery itself, especially if you're going to work in a cemetery that your ancestors actually aren't there, if you don't have any close to you. But if you are, like I said, I recommend leave it for the cemetery yourself as well. There is a traditional Samhain like tea party, like dinner party that you can have. Again, why did I say tea party? I meant to say dinner party. There's a couple different names for it. One version is a Celtic and a Gaelic version, which is actually called a dumb dinner. I just learned this today, actually, when I was double checking all my research. I hadn't come across this before until now. But it's called a dumb dinner, and it's where you make places and you leave places, empty places for ancestors who have passed away. You make them plates, and then everybody at the dinner is completely silent. Like you guys are silent the whole time. Everybody there is silent because you're having dinner with your dead ancestors. So that is a Celtic Gaelic tradition and way to do it. There's also Hecate's supper. I did just teach a check class on that, so you can check out that video and that study guide to get the specifics. Like I literally broke it down, like what to serve, the music, like everything to be there for that. So that's another dinner that you can be doing as well. Or you can just do a basic family dinner and leave a plate for your dead ancestors there as well. That is another option as well. You have resolutions and goals that you can set. This is a fantastic time to be doing this. This is when I do my personal development plan for every year I do. I literally write out every single goal that I want to meet for the entire year before my year starts. I break it down to SMART goals. I break it down to what month I'm going to be doing those goals in, how I'm going to meet those goals. Like I set it all out and I don't use the word vision board. I don't like it. I feel like it's not motivating enough. So I use the word goal board instead. And I set up my goal board and I get all that done this day, like this year, like this weekend that's attached to this. This is a great time to do that. Ancestor altars, if you work with altars, is a fantastic time to do this. Making one specifically just for your ancestors. There's also dressing in costume. Attending or performing a Samhain ritual in a circle. Those are going to be different. Some of them are going to be about letting go and transformation for the new year. Some of them are going to be just about ancestral work, and some of them will be about both. This is also a great time to leave fae offerings and offerings for the fairies. They're very associated to Celtics and islands. And again, we have the mist to where, they thought that this was going to be a time where they were really coming through and like you couldn't tell who was who. And if you view Fae as an evil entity, this is when you would want protection from them. Another thing is roasting pumpkin seeds, doing that. You can make a Samhain garland, which is also a lot of fun. You can just refresh your main altar if you work with altars and make sure that you are changing it out for the seasons, changing out the things for the new part of the wheel of the year that you're on. You can also do amazing purification work and prosperity work. I did actually write out some spells for you in some release rituals in the study guide that you can choose to do if you would like. And then one of them is actually with a pumpkin. It's super easy. This is an amazing prosperity spell with a pumpkin. For all you really have to do is put sigils and symbols on it. And then one thing that is super awesome to do as well, because it's the new year, because this is a tie to your ancestors and connecting to your family lineage and your generations, is just sending your loved ones that are still alive notes, just letting them know that you love them, reminding them how much they mean to you and renewing that connection and remembering things from the past. That's another great thing that you can do now. For divination, I would specifically recommend mirror scrying right now. If you haven't worked with mirror scrying, it's amazing. This is a great time to start it. I did put some details on how to do that in the study guide as well, if you would like. I am going to teach a class on that eventually, and mirror magic as a whole. Another divination work that you can do is there's actually an ancient tradition that comes from actually that's not quite ancient, the Victorian era, to where girls would literally do divination to figure out who their future husbands and spouses were going to be. So they would take an apple and a paring knife and they would go and they would do divination and they would try to do like automatic writing into the apple. And depending on the initials that were written, that would determine who their spouse would be. So that's something if you want to go like back to a different era and try to do that. You can also do that for divination. Tarot cards are great for this time as well. Tarot cards are fantastic divination for this time. When it comes to correspondences on how to attach to Samhain energy, and if you haven't been with me before, a correspondence is a symbol, it's an energy, it's a thing, it's something that can draw you to that energy. It's something that can show honor, it's something that can show reverence, it's something that can show respect, it's something that helps you create that energetic container. It's like a bridge to that divine energy, into that window and that portal for you. So crystals are going to be black obsidian, smoky quartz, snowflake obsidian, howlite. I love howlite during this time if you can get your hands on some. Black moonstone and moonstone as well. Red jasper also, because that can be associated to the Morrigan. Any of the black stones really are great for this time of year. When it comes to herbs, mugwort is fantastic. So is cinnamon. Cinnamon is fantastic for this time of year, because you get the spiritual and psychic intuition, you get the power, you get the healing, you get the prosperity. You also have bay leaf to use for protection, and then also psychic power bay leaf will give you as well. When it comes to altar decorations, you want to make sure you have like fall leaves and acorns, pine cones, pumpkin seeds, squash seeds, pumpkins, gourds, any like late blooming autumn flowers, offerings for your ancestors, photos of your ancestors or relatives who have passed away. The balsam or broom is actually very specific to this time. It is a tradition in Celtic times to where, in order to let spirits know that they were welcome to be entering your home, you would take a broom and you would put it over your doorway of your home to let them know that they were welcome to come in and out of your home and to visit with you. So that is an altar decoration that's pretty powerful right now. When it comes to colors, you could do black, orange, red, even yellow as well for prosperity during this time, and green for prosperity, I would say as well. Colors can be attached to anything, paper that you put your sigils on, your candles, like any representation whatsoever that you put in there. In the study guide, I did put a visual for a mini altar jar. If you don't have the ability to make your own, like a huge space for one, you can just simply put it in a mason jar. It's a super common thing that I do. And I actually did teach a class on that recently, all about altars. So if you'd like to know more, you can watch that as well. When it comes to other correspondences that are attached, you will have for animals the black cat and the owl. You'll also see the crow and the raven attached to this as well. And then for deities, you are going to see Hecate, Caridin, the Morrigan, Persephone, Baba Yaga. You'll also see Odin, Loki, the horned god, and Hades. Those are big deities that will show up and that you can call to during this time. Personally, I have 5 of them on this altar. So I apologize, 6 of them on my Samhain altar right now. I have the Morrigan, Persephone, Hecate, Caridin, Hades, and I also have Baba Yaga. Sometimes I pull Loki out, not super often. He's tricky to deal with, but not tonight. I didn't pull him out. When it comes to shadow work, I always talk about shadow work. It's super important to do, especially during liminal times, and especially at turning points of the year. This one's a great time to be doing shadow work, super crucial because it's the new year. You're going to want to be focusing on what you need to release, what you want to let die, focusing on how you can honor your ancestors, what no longer serves you. You're also going to be looking inward to figure out what you truly want to come from this new year, what you truly want this new year to look like, and how you want to transform and how you want to evolve. I did put some shadow work prompts in there in the study guide for you and tarot questions that you can use as well. I a lot of times like to use tarot questions as shadow work prompts as well. I think they work amazing both ways. I think that works amazing going both ways. In here as well in the study guide, I did put some other rituals, some prayers for you to use on your own if you'd like to, because obviously I want you to also honor this on your own, not just with me and with other people, but also make sure you honor it on your own as well. And then there is one other spell that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I think is fantastic for doing for the New Year aspect. This one, literally, I do it every year. Every year that I've done this, my life has completely transformed in that year. It has made me very intentional about my year. It has made my manifesting a key figure for me. So something that you want to do is you want to make sure that you create an absolute clear intention in your mind of what you want your next year to look like down to a T. Like you want to make sure that you know what you want your next year to look like. What you're going to do is you're going to actually create a circle of candles of 12 candles on the ground in front of you. And you are going to place a coin underneath each and every one of those candles as you light them. So when you light one of those candles, you are then going to take and place a coin underneath them. And you're going to do this clockwise. I just went counterclockwise with my hands. You're going to do this clockwise while you're doing this because that's the positive motion of energy to set that intention. It's moving in that positive direction to call in and pull forth that manifesting. After you're done placing all those coins and having the candles lit, you are then going to light whatever bundle of herbs you choose to work with. Everybody has their own bundle that they love to work with when it comes to clearing, when it comes to cleansing, or incense. If you work with incense, incense works as well. So you're going to light that with the very first candle that you lit because you want to connect to that energy that you started. You want to make it full circle. You're then going to take that and you're going to bring it around your entire home. And you're going to clear and you're going to cleanse out your entire home while those candles are still burning with your coins there. The coins attached, they ground the intention, they ground the manifestation, and they ground that energy. It also is a representative of abundance and prosperity. And abundance and prosperity is not just money, it's everything that you can have abundance and prosperity in. When you are done going around your entire home, you are then going to leave that bundle, that incense, whatever it is, in the center of the circle with your candles. You are then going to do what I love to do, and I tell you guys all the time when it comes to every single new moon, is you are going to sweep out, like literally very intentionally, with your energetic container created. However you do that, whether you visually see it with light, with energy, whether you feel it, whether you create it between your hands first and then place it, however you personally create your energy in your energetic container, you are going to literally sweep every single corner of your home, every single corner of your house. You're going to sweep all of that to the entry of your front door. And then you're going to take that dust and you're going to release it to the earth outside. When you come back in, you are then going to release those candles, take those candles, take those coins, place them on your altar for the next lunar cycle. And that sets the intention for your entire year. Any questions on that one? I did go over a lot.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hi. Okay, Megan. What if you live with other people? And
so like as in like you don't feel comfortable doing it because there's other people there?
No, you want to clean it, but they live in the house as well. But you're not, their energy is not, the greatest. You definitely want to get in there and work that, but you're trying to work around other people's space. Like
So with that intent, when you're intending to cleaning out that energy, you should be able to clean out any energy that's around you. And with that cleansing going into the air before you sweep, that's also going to keep that with you while you're sweeping. So if they're bringing any energy with you around you, you're going to be able to follow that and bring that out with you. I do this with my son running around all the time, and I do it with my husband here too. So I never, and like if I ever feel a residual, I go back. So if I've already cleaned out an entire room and brought that dust to my front entryway, and he's gone back in there and I feel like that energy's been disrupted, I go back into that specific room, I bring it out, and then I just ask him to wait.
Mm.
Usually though, I don't have the issue. Usually I just go back in and it's fine. Does that answer that for you?
You don't have to go in their rooms to do it.
No, you don't absolutely have to. No, I would, if you can get in there, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
If you can't, because that's their private space and they get to control that energy within their private space, you don't need to disrupt that.
It's not going to disrupt me
No,
either.
no.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm creeping through the chat too. So is there any other questions? Let's see. Here goes open. Okay, herbs. Where did the YouTube link go? What just happened? Okay, let's see. Someone type that here. Okay, can you guys hear me still? Okay.
Yes,
So
I can
yes,
hear you.
Yes.
okay, you guys are gonna have access to the recording of the video. It will get posted to YouTube. It just may not be immediately. Our Academy director reviews all of our videos to make sure we're not gonna break any weird YouTube rules. And once she reviews it, then it will get posted. Is the candle ritual in the study guide? No, the one that I just described is not in the study guide. That is a personal one I do for myself. If you guys would like me to add it to the study guide after the class, I can certainly do so. Yes. So
Yes,
if
that
you
would
are
be awesome.
disabled, you can skip the physically sweeping the part. So if you're disabled, you can skip the physically sweeping part. If you just do because I've had this modify for someone else and it worked really well for them because they are in wheelchairs, so they could get around some of their home. So they were able to get around some of their home and they were just like metaphorically sweeping. So they were just they created an energetic broom within their hands and they just used it energetically and not like physically sweeping out it. And the energetic representation ended up being enough for the clearing and cleansing for them. So that is the way that I would do that. I should have brought that up in other classes as well, because I have had people ask that and I've had people use that. So they do it with an energetic way. And if you can't get around your entire home, you can visualize it. So if you visualize yourself in that specific room and you energetically sweep that energy out, you can feel that come to you. I've tried it myself because I wanted to see if it would work. So I've sat in the middle of my room and I have visualized myself sweeping every single corner, and I have like been sitting there going like this and very energetically like going around like all four corners and like visualizing the energy coming to me, and then I was able to move it out. I hope that helps answer that. If it doesn't, please put something else into the chat and I can answer that for you. I should have said that in other classes. You guys should have told me that. I so apologize, guys. I definitely should have brought that up before, and I feel really bad for not doing that. So I really, really hope that that helps. Honey, what question do you have?
I don't normally use herbs or incense because I'm intolerant to smell and my mom has asthma issues and I have dogs. So I normally use fans to
You can use
cleanse? Can I
fans,
use
yep,
that?
or you could even spray moon water.
Okay. Thank you.
Either one, and a bell. Bell or sound healing will work as well. bell or sound healing will work as well. If you ring a bell or you do any type of like Tibetan bowl sound healing, that is another way that you can cleanse that out as well.
Okay. Also, can I use LED candles instead of actual lit candles? Since I'm not going to use it to
Yes.
light anything?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I've done it. Yes. I personally just like my fire, so I do it that way. But I have done it once before with just LED candles.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions at all? Because we are almost done with this, with the teaching part, and then I can get to the fun stuff. We can do ritual work, we can do releasing, and we can do all of that. We actually might be at that now, to be honest, now that we are, yeah, I think we're there now, as long as we don't have any more questions. Okay, I don't think I see any more questions. Okay, guys, if you have not been with me before, what I always do is I start with calling in a circle. My circle, it may sound similar to other things that you've heard. It's very unique to me. I hope that you enjoy it and you love my circle casting. What we're going to be doing tonight is we are going to do a call in our ancestors. So if you have anything to represent them and a candle or incense, if you work with it, I would go grab it when I give you like 5-minute break here to get your supplies. If you saw the event, I had asked that you guys grabbed anything that you had that was beaded. So whether it's a bracelet or a mala or even a rosary, anything that you have that has like separate single beads, I am going to teach you how to do a New Year breath manifestation intention into these beads. So they are going to be your manifestations and intentions that you can carry with you. So that is another thing that we will be doing. And then make sure you have pen and paper for writing out your releasings as well for the new year. So again, make sure that you have, oh, and also your spell jars. Your ancestors can be anybody you want to be. Anybody you want to be. I personally do not have a very good relationship with my family. So when I call to ancestors, I call to a lineage of line I don't even know because I don't connect to my present ancestors. But if they are your present ancestors and they mean a lot to you, you can call on whoever you want to. Whoever you want to. Whoever you want to see, whoever you would like to speak to, whoever's energy you would like to honor, whoever's energy you would like to represent. And then with your New Year's spell jar, if you saw the event, please do that. I'm so sorry for your loss. So please do that. If you want to honor, please do that. Okay, and then New Year's spell jar, if you guys have the supplies with you, you can do it with me. Otherwise, I'm going to show you how to create a manifestation spell jar. You need a mason jar. You'll need a white candle so that you can drip wax, incense, bay leaves, cinnamon, and then quartz. Those, and then a piece of paper to write on. Those are going to be what you need. If you already have those things, fabulous. If you don't, great. And if you don't have them, you can still do the ritual with me. You can still learn how to do it on your own. And then you will also be able to benefit from the energy as well, because you will be within the circle. You will be within that energy. You will hear the prayers. You will be a part of the invocations and all of that. So right now I am going to mute my mic. I am going to stop, blacken my camera. I'm going to get the altar set and ready to go for you guys. Let you guys go and get your supplies if you need to grab them. While I'm doing so, please drop into whatever you call it, meditative space, sacred containers, what you'll hear me say, sacred space, dropping in, meditative state, whatever. Everybody has different words. So whatever you use, I would like you to start doing that as well. When I come back, like I said, I will start calling in the circle and we will get going. Okay. Deep breaths in and out. In. Out. I call to the guardians and gatekeepers. I call to the ascended masters, spirit guides, interdimensional beings, elementals, spirits, ancestors, and all other energies that choose to be here within this circle tonight. I call at this dark hour as summer fades and we greet the early evenings with anticipation, and we seek and we gather to honor the sacred day of Samhain. We call to the wisdom of the elders, the ancients, the guides, and our ancestors, and we humbly ask in your presence to seek the knowledge that we are ready to receive, and not only receive, but to integrate. For now is this time to do so. This is a magic hour, and it's a moment full of possibilities. This is a liminal hour and a liminal moment of transformation, death, and rebirth. I call to the gatekeepers and guardians of the four directions, and I thank you for turning your gaze towards us this evening. We honor your sacred presence, and we thank you for your blessings, and we welcome you here. I call to the direction of east and the element of air, the beings who breathe new life into being. Air, you lift us beyond our fear, to be placed, grounded in understanding, to a place where we can meet each other where we are and love each other without hesitation. You help us to breathe deeply, and on the exhale, you help us to release any resistance to this moment and to anything that no longer serves us. To the guardians and the gatekeepers of the element of air and the directions of east, I summon you and I thank you so very much for holding the Eastern Gateway this evening. I call to the direction of south, the element of fire. You, fire, burn within us, and you remind us that in our passion lies our deepest power. You help us to summon the wilderness within us, and you help us to keep the fires lit through the winter and through the cold, through the wind and through the rain. You help us burn down to ashes anything that's left in our lives from the harvest that doesn't belong with us as we entered this season of rest. We are here and we ask for you to create this space for us and to make this possible within our lives. I call to the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of south and the element of fire, and I thank you so very much for holding the southern gateway today. I call to the direction of west, the element of water. Water, you flow within us, and you remind us that our feelings are not to be feared. Even the craziest feelings, the saddest feelings, the scariest feelings, the darkest ones, even the feelings we have no names for, the ones we hide from, those feelings are not meant to tear us down. They're meant to help us. You help us surrender to the giant waves of any of our worries and cares. And you carry us and you lift us safely to shore. I call to you to the element of water to help us create a channel to flow within our lives, to teach us that our mind and our body and our heart flow back to the earth and to the universe around us. I call to the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of west and the element of water. I summon you And I thank you so very much for holding the Western Gateway tonight. I call to the direction of north, the element of earth. Earth, you ground us and protect us. You teach us to listen more than we talk, and to trust more than we fear. You remind us in whispers to put our feet in the grass and our hands on the trees. And you guide us back to our old ways and the ways of our ancestors, so that we may honor as they lived before us, as they were here on this earth. I call to the direction of north and the element of earth. I call to the bones that sit beneath you, that connect us to the ancestors that are buried here. I call to each and every place on this earth I have walked in this lifetime and lifetime past. I call to all the places my ancestors have resided and called home. I call to you, element of earth, and I ask for you to guide us. I call to the guardians and the gatekeepers of the direction of north and the element of earth. And I thank you so very much for holding the Northern Gateway tonight. I call to the guardians and gatekeepers, both above and below, to all interdimensional beings, ascended masters, spirit guides, ancestors, elemental beings, archetype energies, and anything that decides to be within this circle to support us, guide us, and to bring us through this Samhain sacred day of transformation, rebirth, and death. I call to you, guardians and gatekeepers of above and below, and I thank you so very much for holding all the gateways here tonight. Amen. Aho. Somo deities. Okay, circle is cast. I hope everybody loved that, and I hope you liked it. I hope if you haven't experienced me before. But circle of cast. So first thing that I want to do is I want to start with releasing first. So pen and paper that you have with you. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I normally do. If you've been with me before, I make you guys balance everything out really hard when it comes to releasing. I'm not going to do that tonight. I want you guys to just focus on releasing right now. With Samhain, like this is the perfect time for that. I want you to be really super specific about what you want to release. Especially with this time of year, and I want you to focus on what you're releasing for transitions, transformation, and rebirth in the new year. If you want to say out loud or put in the chat some of the things, you certainly can. I'll throw some of my stuff out there that I'm writing down. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do this. And while you're doing this, make sure that you're visualizing your energy. You're putting the intention behind each stroke in your pen that you're writing. And you're noticing how you feel as you write this and put this on the paper. Because you should feel that release coming as well while you're starting to write it. So you guys can go ahead and start doing that. Like I said, I'll give you a couple minutes to start writing down what you really, really want to release this year. So one thing that I'm really releasing is old patterns of communication. I spent this last year focusing really hard on changing my patterns of communication and how I communicate with other people. So I really want to fully release all that for myself this year. Make sure I'm not hanging on to any of that. Another one I'm writing down is this year I'm being super, super intentional with my expansion of my intuition and my psychic abilities. This next year, like I'm really, really going to focus on that. So one thing that I'll be writing down to release is doubt, and lack of self-confidence in myself and in my intuition and my psychic abilities. Let's see. Another thing that I'm going to be releasing is resentment towards others I serve because I choose to take on too much. It's an issue that I have. I will take on way too much and help way too many people, and then I get super, super resentful to them because I get overwhelmed. I don't want to do that anymore. Let's see. Laura put releasing my guilt for not recognizing son's limitations. You know what, Laura? That's a super great one. I'm going to steal from you. And I really hope that you're okay with that because my son is on the spectrum and he's 2.5, and this is getting to be really difficult now. So, and understanding that he's nonverbal and not getting upset about that, I am definitely stealing that one for you. And Megan says same. I like it. I'm releasing my feelings of responsibility for managing my kid's dad's emotions. That's a good one, Jalinda. I like that one, especially if you're co-parenting. That's a great one. Let's see. Next one, I'm releasing self-doubt, fear of being seen, scarcity mindset. Ooh, those are good ones too. Those are all great. Yeah, it's becoming a very common thing. I don't know what else to say about it. It is becoming common. Let's see. Um, Ooh, let's see. Another one I'm going to be releasing is passive aggressiveness. I'm from Minnesota, so you know anything about us? We're the kings and queens of being passive aggressive. Um, we will not say things to your face, and I want to get better at actually going to people when I have problems. Okay. Yep, we are so passive aggressive. That's why I hear like the Minnesota nice, and I'm like, we're not Minnesota nice. We're Minnesota really long goodbyes and passive aggressive behind your back. Like that's what Minnesota is. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. I don't think it's wrong to joyfully embrace it. Like, especially if you've been in a time in your life to where like you haven't had any boundaries at all. And like you've always been constantly people pleasing. And now being passive aggressive is that first step to actually having boundaries. So like I don't think it's that bad. I really don't. I mean, I'm trying to just not, I want to be more direct. That's what I'm trying to do. Because when I'm passive aggressive, then I get really resentful, and I really don't want to be resentful. Oh, I'm releasing poverty. Yes, that's a good one to release. Releasing your past self, releasing healing and generation. That's a great one to release as well. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes here because you guys have a lot that you have flown out of you, and I want to give you the time. So remember, being intentional with each stroke of your pen as you're writing, making sure you have your energetic container there with you while you're doing this. Like I said, I'll give you a couple more minutes for the releasing part here. Later, I don't want you guys to do it now because I don't think everybody's in a safe space to be able to do it. But when you are in the ability to be in a safe space, I want you guys to burn this. Whether it's in a candle flame, simply using a lighter over your sink even works. Like however you want to. If you want to go start a bonfire, do that. But I want you to burn this. And when you're burning it, again, I want you to like make the statement of, I release all of what no longer serves me to this energetic container and space. You can do it as simple as that. You can add more to it if you'd like. You can actually like say everything that's on there if you'd like, but you really only need to be that simple. It's that simple as a release statement while you are burning that, and then making sure that you're gazing, you're paying attention to that, and you're watching that burn and that release. Sometimes you may see things in the flames as well, so pay attention. You might see some signs. For Fireblaze, can you type that here? Yes, I can. But I should. A really good question. Thank you for asking me to do that. Okay, now that we're done with the releasing part, next we're going to start working on manifesting. That's the other side of balance. When you release things, you have to call things in. You have to keep your balance. So this is how we're keeping balance. We're going to be manifesting a little bit different way. The first thing I'm going to teach you guys how to do is going to be the air blessing with your beads. So if you have those, now is when you're going to grab them. Whether you have a bracelet, whether you have a mala, a rosary, simply just a necklace, like anything that you have that has beads on it. What we're gonna do, the circle's still cast, the deities are still here, so like you guys should still feel that energetic container that should still be there for you. Your energetic container should still be there because we were just releasing. So you shouldn't have to re-ground or anything like that. If you need to, certainly do it. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna take each individual bead. You're gonna pick one bead. You're gonna pick an intention that you want to bring in and you want to manifest for this year. You're gonna focus on that intention in your mind. You're going to think very clearly on what it is. And then you are going to say it. And while you're saying it, you are then going to go and you're going to blow the element of air, also with the vibrations of your voice and what you just said is going to go into this bead. That manifestation, that intention is then going to go in that specific bead. You're then going to move on to the next one. You're going to say it. You're going to speak it into that bead. And then you are going to blow it into that bead with that bead and that intention. And then you will go to the next one. So go through those and do them however many beads that you have. I will even sometimes go through and I'll double up. I'll do one bead for one intention and then I'll do another one. Sometimes I even do three because I do a lot of things and everything that I do in threes because that is a sacred number for many reasons and in numerology as well. So go ahead and you guys can start working on that. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. If you want to type in the chat anything that you're working on, that's going to be hard though. And you guys you'll hear me obviously doing mine. And you can do it in sentences or one words. I should have said that. You can do sentences or one words. A lot of times I do one words, but you can do sentences, one words, whatever you want to do. So for this one, I'm going to do abundance, abundance, abundance. Self-confidence, self-confidence, self-confidence. Intuition, intuition, intuition. Divine alignment, divine alignment, divine alignment. Clear communication. Clear communication. Clear communication. I just saw in the chat, can I use my amethyst bracelet? Yes, you can use whatever you want. Mine is actually moonstone. Let's see. Confidence. I'm going to do confidence. 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 Wisdom. 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 Healing. 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 I want to manifest learning and retaining knowledge. What would I say? I think you could do wisdom. I think wisdom would be a great one for that. I think intuition would even work for that as well, honestly, for retaining knowledge and just for manifesting what needs to come to you, and manifesting learning. I think that'd be a great one, for that, if that's what you're looking for. I think that'd be great, for those two. Wisdom for sure, though. Even you could even do something simply as like studying. like manifesting study into yourself, because that can come in many different shapes and forms. You could also ask to manifest a new master or a new teacher. That is something that you can ask to manifest as well. You can ask to manifest a new deity, a new element, a new spirit that you want to work with. That could bring in more learning, more knowledge, and more expansion for you as well. That is another great way to do that. Okay, so you know what? Because like, why not? Who doesn't want more? Like, sex, sex, sex. I'm gonna do abundance again because I really am focusing on abundance this year for myself personally. So abundance, abundance, abundance. New opportunities, new opportunities, new opportunities. Let's do purpose, purpose, purpose. Okay. You guys feel like you have enough intentions in here? You can give me a thumbs up, an emoji, whatever you want to do if you guys feel like you have enough in your beats. If you want to keep going, I can give you a couple more minutes. I have 3 more I'm making by myself later, so. But these they work amazing. I do one every single wheel of the year. I do one every new year. You will always see them on me. They work amazingly well. It becomes a visual representation as well that's with you of those intentions and of what you're manifesting. It also becomes another energetic container that you can come back to. So I know that a lot of times, like in my life, if I feel like I'm really struggling with something that I was trying to manifest, physically just touching that will bring me back to that energetic container. It will help me reground myself. And will help me do that. So that's another thing, another way to use these. You can use these in prayer. You can use these when you invoke and call in deities. You can use these for new moon and full moon rituals. You can have these at your altar as well. There's so many different things that you can do with these. And there's so much power in it because, like I said, that's your vibration that went into that and spoke that intention, along with the element of air, which is tied to a lot of intuition. It's tied to like your wishes manifesting and moving. So you're getting a lot of energy into that. Okay, so I think I see one person saying they need a little bit more time, so I'll give you guys a little bit more time to keep going. Let's see. I'll do a couple more. Understanding, understanding, understanding. Ooh, compassion and empathy, especially with the jobs that I do, that would, yes. Compassion and empathy, compassion and empathy, passion and empathy. How about fun? Just fun, 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 fun. Or adventure and travel, adventure and travel. We can do protection, protection, protection. You can do good fortune and luck, good fortune and luck. So if you're a bit lost right now we're doing a manifesting ritual with beads and malas. So if you have one with you right now, anything that's beaded, I'd ask for you guys to bring one with you for this ceremony and event. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take them and you're gonna speak into those beads individually and then blow into them that intention for manifesting for the new year, because this is the witch's new year, so we're working on new year manifestation. It's okay. You can totally watch it again. It's being recorded. What would I say for wanting my home to be a place of gathering and warmth and community? Hmm. Community would be a good one. Um, for some reason I hear that and I hear the word cozy. So if you're just like trying to like create like a cozy home, that could be some word that you could use for that is like a cozy home, having a welcoming home. I know that last year I had set the intention instead of doing like one words when it came to that, I had set the intention I wanted my home to become a safe gathering place for others. And it turned into actually something beyond family. It turned into a lot of other things. But that's one way that you could do that is asking to create your home to be a safe gathering place for others. But cozy, like I said, that's a good word that I felt like when I saw that. How about singing? You can sing if you want, totally. If you're comfortable singing, yes, that's still vibrational. If you are totally, you can chant if you would like. I have done it with my mala beads and stuff where I've chanted afterwards. And I've done mudras as well with them, along with the chanting. I have done humming into them as well. So yes, you can definitely sing if you will. Yes, safe and cozy home. If I ran out of beads but want to do more, can I use? Yes, you can use another beaded thing. Go for it. I have this many for tonight. So go for it. Go for it. Oh, meant singing in front of others. Oh, so if you want to sing in front of others,
Courage.
courage. That was going to be the word I was going to go for. Courage. Because I was going to say like releasing stage fright, but I don't want you to release right now. I want you to manifest. So like courage, I think would be the best one for that, or confidence. I think those are good. Okay, everybody feel set with their manifesting and their beads? And do you have any questions about what you can do with this now going forward and how to use them?
I do. So you use these after the releasing or anytime?
I use these anytime. I use these all the time. So this is your
Oh.
manifesting portion. So this is for your calling in. The releasing is a separate portion. So you'll burn that when you have a chance to fully release that. We
Okay.
did part of the releasing with writing it down and doing the energetic container. The second half is going to be when you have the ability to burn it. I just don't
Okay.
know if everybody's in a safe space to burn right now.
And I can go on as long as I want to and add it.
Yes.
And then when I'm done, when I have a chance to burn it, then I'm going to release it.
Yes.
And then this
Yes.
is separate. I can do this afterwards.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is your manifesting portion. This is the half of the manifesting.
Okay.
Does that
So
make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
So we just wear the beads or keep them in a place where we can see them or that?
Yep. Yep. You wear the beads, you keep them in a place you can see them, you have them in a sacred container. Like I said, they become the energetic reminder, they become the energetic cord. It's a way that you use to manifest. It's a way that you use to connect to the universe to let the universe know what you want. It also becomes a visual reminder to you of your intentions and what you're setting for the year and what you're working on manifesting. And also it becomes that reminder and that connection to the divine and the universe. Like I said, these things are amazing. I started using these about 4 or 5 years ago, and I can't be without them. To be honest, I can't. I just can't. Didn't know we needed beads for tonight. Sorry, it's totally okay. You can do it whenever you want. You got to see how to do this, so you can do this when you have the time. So that's totally fine if you don't have them with you. That's totally fine. I put it in the events, but I probably should do more posts to like hype that up. Next time I'll do that. But yes, if you can just do it when you have a chance. Because I showed you how to do it. And you still benefit from the manifesting energy by being in the circle. Okay, so the next thing that we have here, the next portion that I want to do is I do want to give you guys some time to be able to honor your ancestors and meet with your ancestors. Because this is, like I said, the veil is thin. This is a time where you can meet your ancestors, and they can be here. So if you have a candle that you would like to light, and if you have something that you would want to honor your ancestors, I already have my entire altar for my ancestors set up. So it is already here. But what I would like for you guys to do is go ahead and get that item. You can place it in front of you. You can grab your candle and you can go ahead and you can light it. We will light it together. You can grab your candle and have that placed in front of you. Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready with thumbs up or anything like that. Fabulous.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, honoring them I get, but didn't you say something about calling them in too?
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Sorry. Honoring them, yes, I get, but didn't you say something about calling them in or that
Well,
or?
their energy should already be here because I called them into the circle. I
Oh,
always
okay.
call ancestors. They're always there with the circle.
Okay.
So
What
this
about
is
what about even like ancestors who weren't, pagan or that? I mean, that isn't like offensive to them, or do they still get
whoever wants
called,
to
or
show
just
up
like
gets to show up. The door's open to
okay,
them.
okay, that makes
So
sense.
it's up
Just
to them.
checking.
So you are opening the door and you are choosing to honor them, and then it's up to them and if they want to show up and if they want to present themselves to you. But you are giving them that honor and that opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It just
Okay.
could kind of like knock on the door saying, "Hey, you want to come?" and it's up to them.
Yes, pretty much, kind of, yes.
Okay.
Nobody can force anybody, any spirit, any deity, any entity to do anything. Even when I invoke and summon for you guys for my classes, I'm waiting for the day when one of them is like, nope, absolutely not, I'm not showing up. Because they can choose to do that if they want to. So it's totally up to them.
If they show up,
Okay.
how long do they stay for?
What?
If they show up, how long do they stay for?
So since as soon as I blow out the candle, as soon as you blow out your candle, that's how I'm choosing, that's how I have this written, that's how I have this done. If you want them to be here for longer, that's going to be up to you. Some people believe that it'll be, like I said, as long as the candle is there. Some people believe it's the whole night. As long as once you open up that door to them to be with you on Samhain, that they'll be with you until midnight strikes and that portal closes.
So this thing we're
So
doing right now is just for on tomorrow. Is that right?
yeah.
So we're doing it tonight. Do we do it tomorrow too?
Yep, I
Or
would do
just
it tomorrow as well too. Yep.
oh, and then it ends when you blow the candle out. Oh,
So today, like I said, it'll stop when I blow the candle out. So like when you guys blow your candle out, the way that I set up this invocation and this prayer to your ancestors is a very brief moment for them to be with you. It's a very brief way to honor them. It's a very brief way to connect to them. And then like on Samhain, when that portal is open, you can, like I said, some people believe that it's gonna be until that candle is, as long as that candle is lit, they'll be there. Others believe it'll be there for that whole night. So it just depends on you and your personal belief and your practice.
okay.
Does that clarify that more?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. I've never done this
Fabulous.
before, so I don't know. I
If
hope
you
I'm,
guys
this is,
if you
it's
guys don't want to light the candle, you don't have to. I can simply just say the prayer and we can just honor. That's up to you guys. If that's what you guys want to do, we can do that too. You don't have to light your candle. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You get to
okay.
participate whatever part you want to.
Okay, thank you.
That's totally up to you.
Okay.
Okay, you guys ready to go then? Any other questions? Okay. So if you want to light the candle,
I'm sorry, I have a question. Like,
yep.
how can we know that the video is gonna be available? Like, because I would like to go through all of the information again. And then also like, it is today the best day to do it, or is there another day? Or like, I missed that part too. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you cut out there at the end. I didn't. Okay, so when it comes to the video, you will know when it's
Can you hear
posted.
me better now?
Yep, now I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was asking about like when it's gonna be posted and how can we know that it has been posted, and also like you went through all the rituals, and it is tonight or can I do it tomorrow? I kind of lost that part. And also like I had another question, like you said about dance like the candles and that you need to be inside that.
Okay, so
Do
I
you
heard
need
the
to be
first, I heard
inside
the first
that
part.
circle of the candle?
Yep.
And for example, you with your family, or is only, like, for example, because all of my family is so much into this, but the thing is, I would like to know if I need 12 candles for each one, or if one circle of 12 candles should be sufficient for my family.
So it depends on you and how you want to connect, how you want to create that container. If you want to do 12 candles and have it be representing your entire family energy and your family dynamic, you can certainly do that. I've done it that way. I've also done it to where there's an individual set for each member of my family. I've done it both ways. It really depends on your personal practice and your intention and how you would like to set that up. Personally, I think doing it
Okay.
for each member of your family, that's a lot. So you can do one set of 12 candles, and that can represent your entire family energy and container.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
And then when it comes to YouTube's video, this will get posted to YouTube. I don't know when, though. I can't tell you when. It's going to depend on when our Academy director reviews it and gets it posted. How you'll know when it's posted is you can set up for the notifications on our YouTube page. Otherwise, our Facebook page. We almost always like post announcements of every time, like when new videos are posted so that you guys know and you can go watch it. So that is one way to know.
Oh,
And then I think,
perfect.
did I miss any other part of your question?
No, to me, I just wanted to say thank you, because honestly, like, for being a free meeting, it is amazing. Thank you so much for all your efforts and for sharing all of that information with us, especially with a guide. It's just so hard to find like a real class that is like this, and also for free. I feel blessed, and I really appreciate your support.
You're making me feel really nice. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. I super, super appreciate that. I love it. Okay, let's see, I lit a purple, black, and white candle. You can totally lit all three. That totally works. And some people believe spirits come around all the time. That is a valid point as well. That is another belief as well. So that's also something. Some people have spirits with them all the time. So also think of that. That is something that can be with you all the time. I personally do have them with me all the time. I work with them all the time. I work with demons. I work with all types of entities. So yes. Am I in the circle even if I arrived late? Yes, you are, because that's an energetic container that you entered into. So yes, you are still in that circle because yes, I make it that way. I make it to where people can enter my circle as long as they have the permission, and you have permission since you have the link to get here. Okay, so have we decided? Do we want to light the candle? Do you guys want to do that? Because if so, then I'm going to go ahead and I do that and do the ancestral prayer for you guys. Like I said, this is going to benefit more on Samhain, but historically and like ancient wise, like this holiday was honored throughout a range of days from October 29th to November 1st. So that energy is there. It is going to be the most potent though, on Samhain. So I will go ahead and I will do that. So we will go ahead, guys, and light your candles, and then I will get our prayers for our ancestors or invocations. Another way to try to enhance this is if you want that item in your hand and you can hold it in your hand that's going to represent your ancestors, you certainly can. Otherwise, having it visually in front of you and with your candle is going to be the best way. Typically, I also put my hands around my candle if I can, depending on the items and what I have, so that I can connect those energies from one side of my body to the other, from one hand to the other, and I can feel that energetic pull. Okay, so I want you guys to take a few breaths in and a few breaths out. And a few breaths in. A few breaths out. The veil separating the world of the living and the dead has parted, and the last harvest has ended. We reinforce this circle, and we invite in our ancestors and our loved ones who have passed through the veil already. And we ask that they come to us together to celebrate their time here on earth. We ask our ancestors to come closer now as the wheel turns north and the nights grow longer. We ask and we summon them to the sacred circle dancing around the fire as we welcome them into another brand new year. I cast a circle low and wide, holding all beloved spirits inside. May these blessings of our Samhain and the dark half of the year bring abundance, transformation, rebirth, remembrance, and joy. And let us never forget those we've lost. Now take a few breaths in and a few breaths out. And a few breaths in and a few breaths out. And notice if you feel any of your energy changing around you. Notice if you feel any connection going from one hand on the candle to your item. Notice if you feel, see, hear, or smell anything around you. And if you do, welcome it with an open embrace. If you can pinpoint what that energy means to you, that's fabulous. If you can't, ask whoever it is if they can make themselves known to you. A few breaths in, a few breaths out, and a few breaths in, and a few breaths out. Now ask them if they have any message they'd like to you, whether it be verbal and you hear it, a symbol and a sign that they show you, something you smell, something you energetically feel, something you emotionally feel. Ask them now to provide you with any message that they wish to. And sit in this sacred container, in this sacred space, on this sacred day when this portal between realms is open. Embrace them if you need to. I'll let you sit here for a few minutes with them, breathing in and out, and recognizing any pulls from the item to the candle, who's showing up for you. I'll give you another minute here to have any finishing conversations you'd like to have with them, any messages, any feelings I'd like to leave with you. Now turn to them, and in whatever way you feel comfortable, thank them so very much for being willing to make this journey tonight. Thank them so very much for being willing to be here. Remind them how much you love them. And remind them how much you miss them. And ask them to continue to be with you in your waking hours, to continue to guide you, to continue to be a part of your spirit team, and to give you any messages you need when you need them. Again, thank them for being here, and if you choose to embrace, now is the time to embrace and wish them farewell. Thank you so very much, dear ancestors, for coming to guide us here tonight. to visit us, to embrace us, to leave us with any wisdom and messages we need. Thank you for allowing us to feel your warmth, your love, and your remembrance. I thank you so very much for showing up here tonight. And I release you. Now you can blow out your candle, and we're going to release your ancestors back. I hope that somebody, and I guess I hope everybody, got what they needed out of that with their ancestors. I have one last thing I want to show you and teach you. If you have the items with you, you can do it with me. If you don't, I'm just going to walk you through it. New Year spell jar. If you've never done one of these before, this is literally going to change your entire life. I started doing these 2-3 years ago on the new year. I've been doing spell jars for a very, very long time, but I started doing these 2-3 years ago on the new year. Every single year, the intention that I have put into this has completely transformed my life and has been very, very different every single year. So it's super, super easy. All you need is a mason jar, and then you'll need bay leaves and cinnamon. You can use ground cinnamon or cinnamon sticks. So you'll put bay leaves and ground cinnamon or cinnamon sticks. I put one. So whichever one that you want to use, you will use both, and you can put them into your jar. You will then grab any incense that works well for you, or sage if you use sage, anything like that. A lot of times I like to use lavender incense when I do this. And naga champa are good choices. But you'll take your incense, you'll take your herbs. You don't need to leave your candles burning. You can blow them out. I blew mine out. So it's up to you. But you'll take your incense, you'll take your herbs, and you'll add them to your jar as well. So the cinnamon, the bay leaves, your incense, you'll add them to your jar as well. Remember, we're still in a sacred container right now, so that energy is still flowing within you. You should still feel your energy. You should still feel should be visualizing. So you'll be adding that. Any type of quartz that you have, whether it's clear quartz, I recommend clear quartz because clear quartz is an amplifier. So any type of quartz you have, whether it's rose quartz or anything, but clear quartz is my recommendation because that is an amplifier for everything. You will also add that into there. The last thing I will have you add right now, if you want to, you can add a coin as well for prosperity. You don't have to, but you can. You put a coin in there for prosperity and abundance as well. But you're going to take a piece of paper. You're going to want it to be kind of small, otherwise you're going to end up folding it up as well, because it's going to go inside your mason jar. You're going to pick one intention. You're going to pick one ultimate intention that you want to wrap around your entire year. That you want to be the focus of what you're manifesting. You want to be the focus of what you are bringing into your life, what your intention is, the theme for your year, whatever you want it to be. You are going to write that with absolute intention with each stroke of your pen onto a piece of paper. You don't have to tell me what it is if you don't want to. This is a pretty personal one, so you don't have to. But for example, mine for this year is going to be, my intention that's going in my spell jar for the year is creating a life worth living that I'm excited to wake up to every single day for myself and my family. That makes it very open-ended. It makes it also to a lot of different possibilities, but it's also very specific on what I want. So think very hard on what you want that intention to be. When you guys have that ready, let me know in the chats. You can type, you can thumbs up, wave, whatever you want to do. But once you have that written, like I said, make sure you have your energy visualized. Make sure you're doing it very intentionally with each stroke of your pen. Let me know when that's done. You'll fold that up and you'll put that inside your spell jar. Let me just double check the chat. Oh, Jalinda, it's not. This is something that's, I did not put this in the study guide. I will type it out right now for you. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. I don't think I see much people ready yet. Got a couple readies.
So, for your intention, you
Yes.
can just like a word or a like couple of sentences. What your
Yeah.
intent? Yeah.
Yep, you can do just a word if you want, or a couple sentences if you like. Just try to keep it as simple as you can, so that it's a simple energy that's within that one container,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Thanks. Thank you.
Is it bad to use expired cinnamon?
No, I don't think so. I
That one,
personally,
like,
so some people would say yes, but I don't think so.
yeah. Can we share what what the
Yeah,
intentions
if you
are?
want to, go for it.
Mine is buying the house that is meant for my family and moving there, and
Oh, that's
have
a
peace and
fabulous
harmony
one.
in current and new home.
Those are great. I love those, honey. Those are great.
Thank you.
Okay, I think most people are done. So next, what you're gonna do, I'm hoping you still have some candle wax left over from your candle. Otherwise, you might have to relight it again. But next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your lid and you're gonna seal it. While you're sealing it, you're gonna make sure you're visualizing your energy. You're gonna make sure you're seeing it. You're gonna make sure you feel that on your lid. You are also gonna say the words, "I seal this manifestation in this jar for the next year." And Linda, I will type that in the chat for you. Okay, let me know when you guys have your jars sealed.
Do you seal it with the candle wax?
That's gonna be next. I just want you guys to shut it first. Just shut the lids. Once the lid is shut, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take candle wax. I prefer white, but if you have other candle colors, you can choose that too. And then do this while I say the prayer for you because you're within my energetic container. So this will come across to you. So this is gonna attach to it while we seal it. So spirits of the old, spirits of the new, you are who supports us on our ancient ways. Today I leave the old year behind. With it I leave my troubles. With it I leave my pain. With it I leave all things that hurt me and no longer serve me. Spirits of the new year, young and full of energy and warmth. Today I greet you and I honor you. Let the new year bring opportunity. Let the new year bring forgiveness. Let the new year bring light and joy. Let my first footfall be upon the right path. And may this new year be filled with potential. May this manifestation and intention be fulfilled. Amen. Aho. So mo it is. I'd like you guys to say some type of prayer and gratitude as well. Thank you to the top of your seal. And then your spell jar is sealed. So you should have the wax sealing on top of it. You should have the wax settling on it. And that should be there for you. And ready to go. What I would do with this is I place this in the center of my altar. If you work with altars, that's where I would place it. This is the focal point of my altar. This is the focal point of my energy all year. This becomes a huge focal point. You can also place this anywhere in your home, in your bedroom, anywhere. This is its own separate spell. It's also its own separate altar. It's its own separate energetic container. You can use this as a visual reminder as well if you keep it somewhere like that, but this is its own spell. Keep this sealed and shut all year, literally all year. I just opened this and unsealed my one from last year this morning and immediately just overwhelmed with emotion and energy and crying because I understood and got to feel all the transformation and rebirth that I went through throughout that year because it was contained within that energetic container. And it brings forth all of this manifestation. I couldn't keep up with all of that. Can you type it in? Jalinda, are you talking about the prayer? Because I will send that to you. I will add it to the study guide. I'm going to update the study guide and then you guys can relink to it. I will add that to it because that's a prayer that I didn't write that out. It's one that I just know and I use all the time. I use it every year. So I will add that to the study guide. I will update that for you, Jalinda. I have no problem doing that. I can do that for you. Okay. So that's all I had for you guys today for ritual work. The last thing that I have left is just closing the circle. So that's the last thing that we'll do here for tonight for you. We've touched on every aspect that there is for Samhain, when it comes to ancestors, when it comes to manifesting, releasing, when it comes to the new year, transformation, rebirth, and renewal. So we've touched on all of that. So the last thing, like I said, I have for you guys is I just need to close the circle and call back our gatekeepers and our guardians. So I will do that for you, and then we are good to go for the night. I hope tonight was amazing for you guys and you got what you needed out of it. Okay, I would like everybody to take a few breaths and drop back into your sacred space, your container, whatever it is that you call it. I call back the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of east and the element of air. I thank you so very much for holding the eastern gateway tonight. I call back the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of south and the element of fire. And I thank you so very much for holding the southern gateway tonight. I call back the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of west and the element of water. And I thank you so very much for holding the western gateway tonight. I call back the guardians and gatekeepers of the direction of north and the element of earth. And I thank you so very much for holding the northern gateway this evening. I call back the guardians and gatekeepers, ascended masters, spirit guides, elemental spirits, other entities, interdimensional beings, ancestors, and all other energy that was here within us tonight. Any guardians and gatekeepers from above and below, from within and without, who provided us guidance, clarity, protection, transformation, rebirth, and renewal, I thank you so very much for holding all of the gateways here tonight on this sacred evening. And I release you. Amen. Aho. So mo it is. Okay. Okay. Again, thank you everybody for being here. I hope you got what you needed out of everything. Is there any questions, any comments, anything that you have for me at all tonight that you would like to go over before we head out? Will this be on a replay? Yes, it will be replayed. Again, I just don't know when it's going to be posted because our Academy direct, what just happened? What just happened? Hold on, guys. My screen literally just went completely black. I hope I come. There we go. Fabulous. Can you guys hear me? Okay, my screen literally just completely disappeared on me. Like everything was gone. Okay. Let me see if I can get back to the chat though. What in the world is going on? do not know what happened. Okay, well, I can't see the chat anymore. So if somebody can, if there's anything in the chat, I don't know where it went. There it is. Haha, found it. Fabulous. This looks so weird. Okay, I don't see any other questions, but thank you guys so much for being here with me. I super, 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 super appreciate it. If you like being with me tonight, definitely enroll in the academy. I teach multiple classes. I do these ceremonies every Samhain. I'm not every Samhain, every Sabbath, every new moon, every full moon. So definitely enroll in the academy. Send us a message. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening. Oh, study guide. Somebody wanted the study guide. Let me see if I can pull that really quick.
Got it.
Fabulous. You got it? Thank you, honey.
Someone's asking how to enroll though.
Oh, how do you enroll? So how you enroll? Just send us a message on Facebook. Send us a direct message. Say, I want to enroll being a student. Find us on Divination on Facebook. I just can't. Why is my computer doing this? I can't grab the link for you. But Divination Academy on Facebook. If you send us a message, we might not get back to you immediately. It might take a little bit of time because we have a lot of people that want to enroll and very few admins. So just bear with us, but that is how you enroll. And then all of our events are always posted there too. So, okay, fabulous. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Hello?